When you're thinking about the impact that you want this book to have on people, first, give me the impact that you want it to have. And then after that, kind of contrast, I think, your last point of like, hey, what is it that you want? God will give you the knowledge of what you want. And compare the idea of the impact you want it to have to people thinking that, hey, oh, so are you saying that all I need to do is say a couple prayers, come to know the Lord, and then he'll be like a slot machine and I can just pull on that slot machine? How do you differentiate between, hey, I want these things to be impactful, but I want you to understand what I'm saying and how we get there, and what I'm not saying?
And that's why this book is so practical. I became frustrated from years and years and years and years of these high-level principles that people tried, including myself. And I remember I would be that guy. Listen, the day I could write $1,000 check at church, please. I'm ready to walk down there with my $1,000 check, because I just knew as soon as I put that $1,000 check in the hand of the man of God, I would turn around and then my life would transform. That's what I thought, because that's what I told me.
Right. Yeah.
So I was like, this is my day. Even the mic was like,
nah, bro.
So I gave the $1,000 check, and I kind of walked out like, whoa.
Had a glow about you?
Yep.
Okay. All right.
I'm like, this is it. Woo! It's like, well, seed takes a little time to harvest, you know what I'm saying?
Okay, that's what it was.
Tomorrow, wake up the next day. A week. Come on, wait. You rush it. What was it? You can't rush God. What's wrong with you? A month. It's coming. I was trying to think about it. Remember, in due time. So I'm like, but due time's coming. He may not come when you want him.
But he's
right on time. A year later.
Hey.
He's coming.
A year later.
He's coming. And then I realized, Donnell Duncan, if you don't get up from where you are and do what Abraham did, the ram was in the thicket, stuck behind Abraham. Abraham had to find the ram. Abraham had to go get the ram. Abraham had to unstick it. And then Abraham had a ram to offer to God. He didn't blink and a ram was on the doggone altar.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? And that's a missing part that we are not told. And it's like we're given these high-level spiritual principles, and then we're not told. That's why I love my dad. My dad would be like, look, I sowed, and then I went to the back of the house, and we had an avocado tree, and the Lord spoke to me, and he said, these avocados are some of the best avocados. And he took himself a little rod, and he would pick hundreds of avocados and go down to the market and sell the avocados. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And then it turned into money. And you know what he would do? And it's in the book. Mommy and daddy would go buy raw nuts from the grocery, bring it home. We would roast it. We would fry it. We got a little sealer for plastic bags, and we'd seal them, put them in bags. And daddy would take 100 to school and sell it to the kids. And that's $100 in gas money. See what I'm saying? You see, and he would tell you, the magic stuff is nonsense. And so many people continue with this magician Christianity, and all they're doing is frustrating themselves. They're still broke. And that's the thing I learned. It's like, I've been there, I was there. I was watching all these people. They were friends of mine, and they were people I saw in church and stuff like that. They were broke, and they were all broke. And I was meeting them. I thought they had money. They had money. And they had nice suits, and they were talking a bit talking. They were broke. I just thought, hey, you broke too. Oh, you broke too? All of y'all broke?
All of y'all broke.
For a decade?
Yeah.
Something right. You're broke. All of y'all broke. They just broke. And they're giving and they're doing all the right stuff. I'm like, we're missing something. Where is the practical information? And that's the thing. The ones who made it, they did something. They did something. They invested in real estate. They got an education and got a good job. They did something. And nobody's telling us to something. You know, people are like, I want to realize, I read Rich Dad Poor Dad and all these great principles. So many broke people I know. Rich Dad Poor Dad, blah, 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 and all them financial quotes and stuff. And they're broke as broke as broke. Still broke.
But the Twitter's
they
popping
don't have the practical knowledge of what do I do today to turn nothing into 20 grand. Right. That is what I need to know. Tell me that. Yes. And whatever it is, if you do it, it'll work for you just like everybody else. And it's the sowing that opens the door for God to give you supernatural knowledge, supernatural favor, to break open doors for you, and put you in different realms and areas, and put you in the right places with the right people. And next thing you know, you can give that testimony. I sold $1,000 on Sunday, and look, I have $100,000 today, because the wisdom that God gave me, that He released, gave me what I needed to make a withdrawal from that spiritual account that I deposited my money into. Because the money's there. Because God's word doesn't return to Him void. Right. So, you give, He's going to make sure you have it. Men shall give it to your bosom. He had to show you where to find the men, what to do to get them to give it to you. It's not magic. I think it's the magic Christianity thing. At some point, you will outgrow it, and you realize this stuff does not work like that. There's a practical side. And that's why my thing was, tell people the practical side and tell them the spiritual side so that people can get real results. That is my thing. And I want people to walk away with real results. And we went through everything from entry level, if you just walked in, to investing, to the sowing part, a whole chapter on tithes. So you understand that. I didn't take that away and be like, oh no, all you got to do is just do this. No. You still, don't be silly. Don't be silly. I told you the story about me and that $3,000 car. Yeah. Don't be silly. Right. Like, don't play with God. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? He'll hook you up, but you play with Him, He'll tear you up. Right. Go on.
Hey, so the idea is get hooked up, not tore up.
Come on.
All right, cool. Well, definitely, sir. Give Donnell a round of applause, please, if you don't mind. Sir, that was very insightful. I appreciate your willingness to give away the tasty tidbits of the book and hook us just enough so that we go ahead and make this purchase, right? Get this in our life.